Welcome back to the Midlife Muscle Podcast. I'm Joey Atlas, and today's great guest is Dana Lynn Scott Horton.
You did it.
Did I get
Yeah.
it?
I know. It's a mouthful. It takes patience to say.
I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
If you were watching maybe a month or so ago, we had Renee on. Renee nominated, I think, 2 or 3 people. Dana, her cousin, is one of those nominees. And here's Dana today visiting from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
All right. We'll get to your path on how you ended up there from here, right? From Jack's. All right. Dana is can we say you're a lifetime health and fitness enthusiast?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
in addition to a healing and recovery practitioner.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Okay.
that healing recovery comes after.
Yeah.
Because
we're gonna get there.
Yeah, but totally.
Just,
it's been a long path. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So to the person watching or listening, now if you are listening, make sure you go to MIDLIFEMUSCLEPodcast.com, MIDLIFEMUSCLEPodcast.com, so that you can see on video instead of just hearing the audio. You'll want to see our guests, all the past episodes, future episodes. So when you're there, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications, please. All right, so for that person who's watching or listening, give us the 3, 4, 5 sentence quick summary of who Dana Lynn Scott Horton is.
That's a big question.
Uh-huh. Short to the point. Age,
I got you.
Wife, mom.
Yeah, so I am 48. I'll be 49 in July. Yes, I am a mom. I am a wife. I am only child, so no siblings. Own my own business. We run a house of 6 people, pets and kids.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, what kind of pets, real quick?
Ooh, we have 2 dogs.
What kind?
2 cats. Australian Shepherd, Poodle mixes that are pretty sure collies in there because one's just real hectic and the other one is so mellow.
All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. So you and I connected through Renee to explore just getting to know each other, talking about timing for this today. Yeah. We had a great conversation, and there was so much more I wanted to ask you beyond what we spoke about, but I wanted to save that for today.
Yeah.
To have it come out in real time, real time conversation, face to face, and for anybody watching and listening to be able to eavesdrop on us, because I know there's going to be a lot of good stuff just based on what we spoke about that day.
It was a great conversation. Like, I appreciated it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know you from Adam.
Right.
So it was just a nice way of like, okay, this is organic. This is like, and it's great to meet like-minded.
Yes.
Easily.
Yes.
So
I felt really good about that. And after that, I was really looking forward to having you on. So let's get into it. I want the viewer, listener, watcher to be able to absorb not only what you and I spoke about in regards to the dynamic of a lifestyle and lifetime of health and fitness, but also the things we haven't spoken about yet. So before we go really, really deep, let's rewind the clock a little bit. Actually, a lot. Let's go into childhood. If I remember right, you were born here in Jack's.
Nope. I was born in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma?
Yes.
Which part?
Tulsa. Well, Oklahoma City, but they're from Tulsa. I was adopted. So I was born there, foster home, and then we were in Oklahoma.
Joey Jr., my son, he's spending his whole summer there as part of their workforce location for the summer. They have different regions where they get drafted to every summer. Yeah. He's leading his team in Tulsa.
In Tulsa?
Yeah.
Have you been?
Not yet. I'll probably go visit them.
I freaking love Tulsa. Tulsa is laid back. From music to art to the food, it is good.
I was looking at this all last night.
Yeah, it
looks
good.
really interesting.
It's some good stuff. Yeah.
All right, so born in Tulsa, adopted.
Yeah, adopted out of.
Okay.
And
what was your path to Jack's?
So our aunt has lived here since the 60s, Jack's Beach. It's my mom's sister. Our grandmother moved to Palm Coast, which is, for those of you who know, what is it, an hour? I don't know,
Maybe
a couple
now.
hours down, south.
Hour and a half.
So it was always, and my parents would always bring me to stay with my aunt. And then she moved down here when we were like 13.
She, meaning if you're
Renee,
watching on camera, you
sorry.
saw Dana gesturing over to
Yeah.
her left.
Yeah.
Renee is actually here tuning in.
Yeah,
Cousins
yeah.
are hanging out this weekend
Yeah.
while Dana is in town. So, hi,
Yeah.
Renee.
Hello. Yeah, so she moved down. So then it was still an even more worn path. We lived in North Carolina then.
Which part of North Carolina?
In the Raleigh area. It's right outside of Raleigh. And now people know it, but it was like a one stoplight town, Fuquay. So there's always been a path worn down here. And then the older I got and able to drive and mobility wise, yeah, I come down all the time as much as we can.
Yeah.
And then starting families, then I moved to Oregon. When we came back, we lived in the Ormond Beach area, my husband and I started having kids. Then we got divorced. I moved up to Ponte Vedra. She was living in Atlantic Beach area. And then I got reconnected with my husband, who was a persistent man.
The first one.
It's fun to talk about that
Okay.
way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about that. But no, my husband currently.
So this is a new husband.
Yeah, I
Okay.
got remarried.
All right.
Yeah, like
Congrats.
he pursued
How did you guys meet?
we knew each other from North Carolina. Reached out on Facebook, and let me tell you, I didn't like Facebook, and I didn't. I'm horrible about using the phone. I don't like messaging or texting. And I'm like, I'm not dating states away. And pursuant man. So for almost 2.5 years, we drove back and forth, because we both had kids, and being responsible with kids in that situation is a delicate, but beautiful way to know each other too.
Agreed.
We both owned our own business. So then I moved up there, I think 2016, around that time. And then I
combined households.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But beautiful. So then I still come down to see families. So that is the long and the short.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that early part of life, when was your entry into, describe your entry into fitness and being health conscious, et cetera?
I think health conscious would come after the fitness part, because I was always in gymnastics, always swimming. I was it was hard to stay still, period. But that led into then playing soccer, playing softball, like in the younger
Through
years.
high school?
Yeah, in high school. And then outside of that, playing pickup soccer, powder puff football. So it was always there. And I still didn't know my career path at that point, even kind of starting school and not knowing. But when I moved to Oregon, and really when I started involving myself in women's health, nursing school, like all of it, I'm like, oh, there's the connection, and it makes sense. I mean, I didn't grow up being told to drink water. I mean, it was fine to drink it, but my mom drank milk. Like, our people came from drinking milk. Fine, but just that simple knowledge of, oh, I should probably drink water, to, oh, I don't even want to eat this because this makes me feel like crap. And so that lineage is, then it got married together when you start seeing it work together. And I think that younger years, I can do anything, no water, not eating the right food. But you start hitting that point of where you're exerting past what the par for course is, what your body says, but I want to go further. That's where that nutrition comes in, and that because it's not just health of I look good, it's that I feel good.
Functionality.
Yeah.
Then you go to the layer of health optimization, disease prevention.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you started becoming aware of all that. It sounds like late teens, early 20s.
It was probably early 20s. No, I moved to Oregon when I was 22.
So mid 20s.
Yeah, early 20s, and that started that whole journey with that side of it.
So you started changing your views on food, hydration, and changing your habits then.
Yeah, and I thought, because my habits, I mean, I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I would drink.
Yeah.
I would go out. I would, get up work early, and it never really bothered me
Mm-hmm.
much. But then it starts taking a toll, the older you get, and then like, oh, this does not feel good.
Right.
Fill in the blank to, whatever the lifestyle was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, early 20s, but really implementing. Like I had my first little one. It was like 30. I think it was 30.
Mm-hmm.
I had turned 30. He wasn't one yet, so it was around then, and that's where really, if I can be honest, and like that connection married to it was then. I may have been doing it before, but it didn't really marry and gel to.
Yeah. You felt the impact at 30-ish.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So were you into fitness training by the time you were 30? Like beyond the sports that you were doing in the younger years, when did the fitness training start?
I mean, I started like lifting with the guys in like high school. So that was always there with free weights for me, because I loved it. But then it took, when we were in Orem Beach, so 32-ish, to really start. I worked with the Olympic bodybuilder, and I was thinking on the way, and I was like, I can't remember her name. And she had gotten into Pilates because she was a wreck.
Right. Understood.
And I found out this later, but she was right around the corner for us. And I wanted to just stretch. I needed some help. And the reason she opened that is because she knew she had to do it for herself.
Sure. That
key for a woman to tell another woman is there's where the magic happens. Right. Like when we start speaking about how this works for you, I wasn't where she was at. She was in her 40s and did it. Yeah. So for a 30 or something to look at a 40-ish, and I admire that. Like she pushed her body hard, knew her limits, but knew her functionality. When you start working with this kind of crosses into it. So when I started doing CrossFit and really lifting harder and finding this whole new world of this. So this is 2004, 5. CrossFit was kind of newish.
What age range were you in?
30-ish.
Okay. So you're starting to do some CrossFit type stuff, high impact, high intensity.
Yeah. And it takes a lot.
Yeah.
But when you're working with people who these muscles, whether it is for the way they look and they're in fitness modeling, fitness, if you don't have that full circle, you're developing so much injury that looks like restriction, that looks like I'm sore, that looks like I just need a foam roller. Right? No. So that's why the beauty is, because there's this idea in the fitness world that those glam muscles, if you roll them out, if you do something, one, it's going to affect your performance for the worse, or they're not going to look as good because it won't be as hard. And that is it's
huge myth. There's so many myths and so many layers of the myth.
Yeah.
Witness this every day. Like there's not a week that goes by where I don't talk to somebody and they've got some kind of injury that week, whether they jacked up their shoulder in like a boot camp class, or they tweaked their knee doing, burpees, exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, if I really stop to have conversations with all these people, it would take up so much time. And then it's like, are they receptive is another question. Like, are they willing to hear and absorb and understand what I'm going to try to tell them and help them with? Yeah. Right. You know what I'm getting at. So keep going.
Yeah. Well, that's the marriage of it. So like watching her do this and seeing her kind of really starting under her little umbrella and the women that would come to her, and then watching. So I, in the gym that came about together with another girl that I opened it with, I was in the mobility. I mean, and I had people at my door constantly because I need to squat to depth. Okay, but how are you with these other movements? Have you like, because when I walk past you, this one shoulder's really low, so the other hip's really high, and we can get you to squat to depth, but you have a whole imbalance off. It's that, like what you're saying, it's hard to, and I had to learn that speech pattern because I like to speak to you.
How you communicate.
right? Like, I'm going to tell you what I see.
Right.
Not everybody wants to know what you see, because who am I in their world?
Right.
Who are
Understood.
you to tell me? I know my body. And listen, 100%, I get that, because I also preach that.
Mm-hmm.
It's your body. Now, I can tell you what I see. Where are you feeling it? Is it the mound of your big toe? But I think it's the crest of your hip, right? So there's, that works together, but it is that learning to speak, to be heard in a healing way, because it can come across as this grand manipulation with my words of, if you don't do this, da da da.
Right.
And that took a,
you have to be crafty
learning.
with your communication.
But it's not manipulation either, and it's not that craftiness. It's those
it's honest
real
advice.
Yeah, it's learning those right words that can be heard, because that mindset is so strong, and it's inbred into the whole, I think, the whole fitness industry, and maybe it's not as much
generally
anymore.
speaking. Yes,
I feel like it. Yeah,
I used to train at home for the longest amount. I was in gyms since I was a kid, literally since childhood, thanks to my dad. The last bunch of years I've been training at home on this gym system that I created. So it's body weight, it's bands, and light weights. Those three combined are basically what I've been doing for the last 15 years. And then God needed me to go join this local gym. I'll tell you that story another day. I actually shared it on a previous episode.
Okay.
So it got me back into this public gym, really, really cool place. And as I spent more time in there, it became more, that's how this podcast came to be, because of my time and interactions in this public gym, it led me to doing this.
Yeah.
Right. Good. So, but in there, I'm now able to witness what goes on in a gym
General
these
public.
days.
Yeah.
Right. So I do a lot of observing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot I still see, like
lot.
people are still doing that. Like, so it and it's not a judgment kind of thing.
No,
it's
if
just,
you don't know, you
right.
don't know.
It's like, wow, I still see what people need help with.
Yeah.
There's a lot of room for improvement here on many levels.
And you're saying that, and we're talking kind of about the general public who is working out.
Yeah, they're doing it.
But I believe, and I know I get guff for it, and that's fine too. But we got to keep saying it out loud. To become a coach, to become a trainer, to become a voice of somebody's going to listen to you. You need to know what you're talking about.
Yes.
You need to deliver concise, nothing vague.
Right.
You need to know no injuries. The main thing is, what are modifications for what we're doing? And that is not I'm just going to throw this together because I did this last time.
Right.
It matters.
Yes.
It matters down to, please let that knee fall towards the pinky toe just a little bit right now and feel that difference. And that's vision. That's knowing what that body's doing. Because I feel like still throwing out, and I love it. I love that people are zealous and they want to be personal trainers. They want to be, but you will see it in the PT field too, like physical therapists.
Oh yeah.
I
saw that.
It gets
crass.
past
Past year too.
They get not crass. It's the wrong word. Just cumbersome for doing the same things. If somebody else can walk by and see that their knee is not right, and it doesn't mean that I'm critiquing them, but it's like, that's bring the belly button to the spine just a little bit, correction, but they're busy talking to one another.
Right.
And again, like, I know I'll catch gaff. I need to put this out there. I work with 2 physical therapists right now that are we're in the same office space. And these women, I love them 100%. So I'm not saying all physical therapists,
right.
Like, I work with some really rad women and have over the years, but it matters. And what you're observing is, who are the people that are then healing them, right? Because just as my own, and I know you can say the same thing too, we're wrong. I want to be wrong so I can be right.
Yeah.
But you have to be, just like we want the general public to be receptive, all of us have to be receptive too,
Right.
to maybe I'm looking at this wrong.
Right.
Let me go back and look
Yeah.
at it. Because it matters.
Right.
The fact that you're doing a podcast on this and this is your cornerstone, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And people move their bodies as though, oh, I can do anything. And when we get to this point, you better do it right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gonna stink.
So this is really good. So anybody listening, watching, we've been talking about people who are already doing this.
Mhm.
I've been doing it. You've been doing it. Renee's been doing it.
Mhm.
Everybody else who's been on has been doing it. My real goal for this is not just to improve the people who are already doing it, how they do it,
Mhm.
you know, the nutrition, the supplementation, the training,
Yeah.
all the lifestyle elements. But for newcomers, whether you're 29, 62, 71, whatever, if this is your first foray into taking care of yourself proactively through proper training, through proper nutrition, through proper supplementation, I'm doing this so that you can have a safe advantage on that start.
Yeah.
And possibly guide you along the way to really understand what it is you're supposed to be doing and how you're supposed to be doing it. Not just like, oh, here's this boot camp for $19.99 for the first month. Let me go try that and see how it goes.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to do.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So on that note,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this throughout the conversation. Let's go deeper into your background that gives you the abilities to do the healing and recovery work that you do with people. So let's give people a description of that background.
Yeah, I mean, we could start with, school, but I like starting, like, really the path that got me here was working with women and then like working in the gym. But it's when you see people that need help, and where I really got the bug is random, and I know it was by perfect design as well. When I was in Haiti, and I was supposed to work in Mother Teresa's. My dream was I'm going to work in Mother Teresa's orphanage. Well, they had enough
Really?
people, yeah. So I was like, well, where do I go now?
Mm-hmm.
Because my Creole is not the best. But I got in the boys' orphanage that I was staying in, physical therapist and another OBGYN from actually the States were staying there. And to watch the PT go into these orphanages, and it still makes me want to cry, but out of joy, just a little bit of movement, just eye contact, and let's steady your hands. These are kids that have never walked before, up till like whatever age they're in cribs. They don't have an advantage for anybody to hold them, hug them, that ability of touch and movement is so tremendous.
Yeah.
To watch them walk, to watch them smile because their hands hit a position while their foot did at the same time. So that sprung it. I thought, and when I moved out to Oregon, I was like, I'm going to become a midwife. I'm in my mid-20s and never had kids. I'm like, the women I were working with, they're like, baby, you need to have like, we love you, but and I did. I became a doula. Like, I started down the path and I was like, you're right, it is not the time. But then I'm like, but that doesn't mean I drop out. I can't work with kids. So that's kind of just started everything. Worked in the emergency room for a while, but that wasn't it.
What position in the ER?
I worked I was in nursing school, and then we were in the ER. So I started doing phlebotomy and CNA work while you're in school, just to get your fingers wet. I mean, and the story, I like that floor. I love the ER. I wouldn't want to be on another floor, but just working with people, that was a great way to just really see, I like working with people. And yes, I love talking to people, but it's more I like seeing, they may not see what's happening right now, but I see that, right? This beautiful growth. So then moving into really seeing, I want to work with the body.
And then what were your first steps in that?
That started with.
Did you get certified in something?
I can't. I actually can't remember if it was yoga or if it was massage therapy first, or it might have been massage therapy. I think
So
it
you
was.
got
I think it was massage
licensed
therapy.
massage therapist.
Yeah, and then it was PT during. I got my
Physical therapy.
PT assistant, and worked with a great PT who talked a lot, and I learned by doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in Daytona, but then a yoga, got certified in doing yoga, teaching yoga, and the meld of that together. So while I'm in school, I'm raising a little one, but I wanted a business so I could be with my family.
Right.
Like I want to be, because that's my first job. Like I have all this like ego, if we want to say it, and all these things that I want to do, but my first job is my kids. How am I going to do that? So I'm teaching a little here, I'm teaching there. It all starts melting, and that's where it comes together. It works. This needs to work together.
Right.
Because it's not just, I could do massage therapy and I can work in PT. And I was working in a pain management clinic, PT. And that really, I did not want to do that at that time. Now I want to do that. At that time, it was meds, and it was the only reason they could get to the other side of the door for pain management is if they went through the cycle, right? Why can't we, and that was the red flag for me is like, why can't this be married? Why can't this be the same thing? Because it's not just these 5 things of where you're on a recumbent bike and then you can have meds. Hey, meds are great. Go science. Like, absolutely. When things are needed, they are needed. But wouldn't you want to offer your patients the real healing?
Right.
Like real movement, that's consistent. That is not 15 minutes. It's so, and really the yoga component of learning to stabilize, lengthen, see how do we maintain muscle without constriction. And I love that.
So you blend everything together now, it sounds like.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So is your business part of a practice where these other people, so it's your own thing? So people come to you. Is it everybody paying out of pocket?
Yeah, I don't do insurance. We tried insurance for a little bit, but no, it is out of pocket.
So somebody might come to you and you might do some massage therapy, some physical therapy, some yoga, some traditional basic strength training. Like you might do a blend of things to heal and recover somebody?
Yeah, it depends on, if I have a post-surgical patient and they have swelling all over and bruising, I'm going to do light lymphatic work, but we're going over what's your nutrition. So that nutrition line then, and this is where I'm always forthright. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. I have some certifications that I have taken and I have learned a lot, but that still doesn't mean that I'm going to dictate your diet. I will give you a lot of information. Because on this road to recovery, if you're not putting in what's going to heal you, it's going to take a lot longer.
You don't have to be a nutritionist to know the tried and true basics that every human being should know anyway.
And this is correct. And I want to put that in my scope of practice because it is. But I'm also not going to tell you I'm a dietitian. I'm going to tell you what here's why I believe it. Here's my research of why I believe it. You can do this or not. You have to drink water. I'm amazed by so many people who are like, I have to drink water. Yeah. Yes, please. Don't you want it? Like, where are you at?
Well, I do drink some.
Yeah.
Well, what is some? Oh, in the morning I have, a couple of sips. What about the rest of the day? I don't know. Might have a little.
It's in my coffee.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, it's okay. And I love all of you who tell me that. But you also know that I say no.
All right. So on the healing recovery aspect, do you see fitness injuries on a regular basis? Do you have a steady flow of clients coming in from fitness injuries?
Yeah, well, so I really have niched it to women's health, and it is this middle ground a lot. So a lot of these women who come in either have hadn't been in fitness, hadn't started yet, not sure really where to go with it, or they're in the middle and they're like, oh my gosh, my neck, oh my goodness, like I don't even know, like I'm sleeping weird. So then you have hormones, because where are they in perimenopause? Are we in, where are we? Emotionally, the whole thing, and the injuries that come from that part alone, and not even like they didn't throw a car. It's like they're trying to do side lunges and it happened, right?
There's no need to even do those. Like,
yes. Well, yeah. So there we are. So yes, the rehabilitation that I believe needs to be a preemptive, and that sounds off, right? But you have to reconnect what you think about your body.
It's like college. We had to take prerequisites before you did the big stuff.
And it mattered.
What in fitness, what are the prerequisites you're going to need to then go do this other stuff that you're like all ready to jump into?
I have people that come to me and they're like, I just signed up for this fill in the blank, which is this
Spartan race, this competition, this run, this obstacle course, this boot camp, this 90-day challenge.
Yes, the 90-day challenges are the ones that get me. And I'm cool. I love that there's inertia to move towards something, because that is a high five, because I get it.
Right.
That beginning of the stage that we so often forget about, that beginning first steps is hard. So high fives, 100%. Are you being looked at? And I will, okay, well, that's great that you're doing this. Please make sure your trainers are fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank. That doesn't mean, and I will say, that doesn't mean I need for you to train with me because I do those things. Right. This means if you're going to advocate for yourself and do this, know what you need in your body. Yeah. You need to start eating right. You need to make sure you have a stretch schedule way before you start your 90 days. What kind of foundation
do you have that's going to allow you to go do this thing you're all pumped up about?
Yeah, that's that reestablishing those neural connections of, all I have to do is go run and I'm going to be fine and I'm ready to work out and throw the cars and do the things. And I'm going to have, the arms and the legs and that, great. No. Love it. Yeah. Inspire. But you're not going to start there.
Yeah.
And I think we can all know if we take a little time off, whether we've had our own injury, it's a family emergencies, you go back and say you hadn't done certain movements for a while and you start them and my knee is killing me. I didn't think about, I forgot, I should have fill in the blank.
Right.
Released all the stuff around my knee prior to, because I know my knee is a weakness. Like we even know that.
Yeah.
And starting back is, okay, I kind of need to go backwards a little bit.
Right.
Let alone somebody who does not know that foundation.
Yeah, totally starting off brand new.
Yeah.
They have no idea how deconditioned they actually are.
Yeah.
They take it for granted because they have no frame of reference. There's no context. They don't know, right? And so it's one of I'm starting to see some of this out there where people who think like us will actually put out offerings of gentle preliminary fitness.
Yeah.
Like this is your on-ramp to where you eventually want to go.
Yeah.
Right? The verbiage is not as sexy. It's not as like emotionally triggering.
It's not this like
right. It's like it's kind of boring. Like, and some people don't even want to admit maybe that's what I need. Maybe I just need like this safe, gentle, not so visual type approach to my start, my entrance into this whole realm. When in reality, that's what most people need.
Yeah, but it takes vulnerability. I mean, it takes.
Right.
And then that's its own emotional like roller coaster.
Exactly. So let's drive this home for the viewer who maybe you're just starting out again after a year off or 3 years off or 7 years off or whatever. Or you're watching this and like the idea of starting for the first time in your life is appealing. Don't go for the 90-day boot camp blitz.
Yeah.
Don't go train with the superstar competition winner trainer who's going to smash you into shape.
Yeah.
Maybe that's for the future, but you have to be prepped to be able to withstand that kind of, and it is punishment. Like it might be gentle, relatively speaking, but that kind of training is punishment on the body and the mind.
Yeah.
All right. So our point here is to get you to think about, what does my body actually need that I might not even know about?
I think
right?
I'm going to add to that too. Like, and we're speaking to that, like maybe you're just jumping back in or jumping in period, but I think it's a valid pathway for existing fitness enthusiasts, like those of us who may have done it, because it does take vulnerability to say, I think I plateaued and now I'm just, condition yourself to get to where you want your next place to be. Because every year that goes by, our body ages, our mind ages. So how are you going to, admit, reclaim all of that? And that takes being humble. I think it
takes some wisdom.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
And the person who's been working out forever, it's like telling somebody, if I'm walking past a PT, I don't want to call them out, but I really think that you should be this. Nobody wants to hear that.
Right.
But if you're humble enough, correct me so I know. Let me start
Yeah, I mean, you and I both know how big the recovery field is coming. There's so many products out there, like the percussion guns, the compression garments, the heat, the ice, all these new things coming out. I mean, I'm making more use of all these things. I got a massage chair
100%.
recently.
Yep.
But those are the types of things that we need to make more time for. Just like if we're so serious about having this great body and we're willing to put in the time and effort each week to achieve that, your recovery's got to be as equally important, if not more important. So we have to be proactive in that.
Yeah.
So any newcomers just tuning in, just understand that this is not about going and cranking it out. This is also about care and recovery of the body, so that you reduce the chance of injury, you increase your recovery abilities, and hence you increase the goals you reach and the results you get.
Yeah, and that intuitive notion with your own self. We can go through motions, but as soon as you feel something, recognize where it's coming from. What movement did you just do? What should I go from there? Oh, maybe I should take an Epsom salt bath tonight. Maybe I should pull out the
The other thing about this is people they'll get an injury and they know what exercise it was, or 2 exercises it was, or what have you, and it happens recurrently.
Yeah.
It's well, why don't you leave that out and we go substitute something else that will, number one, reduce the risk of injury, maybe just negate it altogether, and possibly even give you better results.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know that's possible.
That's that whole point in the beginning of modifications.
Right.
Modification doesn't mean
you're going backwards.
It's embarrassing.
Right.
And you're gonna, people think if I'm stretching in a chair, oh my goodness. Listen, stretch for me in a chair sometimes is the best, and I can stick my feet behind my back that. I will be as humble as I need to be to stretch it out. But modifications open everything up. If you can't take that humble step.
It's about big picture progression.
Yeah.
What can I modify? What can I adjust?
Yeah.
Be open-minded about the concept of needing to modify for progress, needing to adjust for progress, needing to substitute one thing for another in order to progress without injury. Doesn't mean you're losing anything. Doesn't mean you're going backwards. It's you're going forward by being smart.
Yeah. It's the idea of you really are gaining more, even though you think that you're, but that's the disconnect. If we're going to put that neural side into it, you have to disconnect the idea of what you think it should be or what you have to do or what, in this aspect.
Right.
I have to do sit-ups and that's the only thing I can do.
So
for my
this
core.
This is good. All right, so let's drive home a point.
That is wrong.
Most of the women I coach, I do coach some men, but it's mostly women because they hear he's got a gentle approach that just works. They're in their 50s or 60s, some in their 40s, some in their early 70s, but generally speaking 50s, 60s, and these are women who have quote unquote tried over the years. Maybe they've even been doing it for years, but they get into their 50s and they're like, ooh, this doesn't feel good like it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'll do the intake, and they're still trying to do the squats, the walking lunges with the bar in their neck. You name it. You know what I'm talking about. I'm like, well,
yes.
what if I told you don't need to do that to get the improvements you're aiming for?
Yeah.
Like, well, how is that even true? Right? Because they're used to just seeing what they see and hearing what they hear. And it's basically like, well, just trust me for a month, and then you tell me what you're feeling, right? So get them on the body weight, slow movement, remove the momentum, use the body instead of momentum. And they're like, I don't know what to say. Like, I wish I found you 30 years ago, but how come nobody's really pushing this kind of stuff out there?
Isn't it
This is
amazing how
amazing.
many times you hear that? Why isn't this more? I've never.
More mainstream.
You
popular.
do more? Yeah.
And if you think
let's
about
preach it, and then let's get more people there too. Yeah.
It's not mainstream because here's one reason. If you think about this, if you walk into your average health club fitness center, I think, Renee, we're surrounded by like 4 or 5 big health clubs. There's Crunch 3 doors down.
There's boxes.
There's LA Fitness. There's all right. If you walk in, what's all there? All the big equipment, all the big machines, right? So if they're not selling all of their equipment as a part of the membership, and people aren't using it, there's a big disconnect there. So they have to present that as part of the solution for that person they want to get in the door. And everybody who's a member, they want to be using all this equipment, and everybody is using it, and the trainers are all having people train on it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a paradigm shift. It's an important paradigm shift that you actually don't need all that to get the results you want, and to actually start avoiding some of those very common injuries with your shoulders, with your knees, with your back, with your neck.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you think about one wrong placement on a bar, somebody's doing overhead, and they were showed one time.
Right.
And listen, that's fine. And I also want to, I love that people are moving. Like, I want to honor people are moving, but the integrity behind it is really what we are speaking 100% about. Your hands are off. Oh my, just a world of pain. Your neck, your everything changes.
Right. There's another aspect of this.
Change this.
I think you'll understand this. People are built differently. And I truly believe, and this is based on doing this since childhood and just observing at a deeper level, there are some people, male and female, who are built in such a way that they can withstand a lot of wear and tear. Their body is built and designed genetically to be able to withstand a lot of movements we would never have people do. So maybe it's, I don't know, like a tiny, tiny percentage of people who are in the whole fitness realm, they're going to be able to get away with it. It doesn't mean because they can that the other 85, 90% of the crowd who might be trying to aspire to that person or that trainer is genetically built to withstand that kind of usage, right? And we're not. We're just not. Genetically, we're built to maybe we could look like that, but we have to take a gentler, safer, wiser approach to how we stimulate the body for
it's functional.
The reaction we want.
Like our bodies are really built for functional movement, which is not, it can, if you know how to use that machine or the thing, good in these, big gyms, but the functional movement takes sometimes a long stretch to get there, and then another long, and then you're adding weights or you're carrying, but it's functionally, it's not. Right. Function first. Form comes with proper function and fitness training. All right, this is good stuff. So here, we're going to shift a little bit. You ready? Anybody who's not watching, make sure you come watch, because just like everybody else, Dana is in great shape. You're going to want to see her physique. Oh,
so we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
What's your height, weight?
Okay.
Current height, weight?
5'3", 130.
We're in the same boat. 5'3", 130.
Yeah.
You might have me by an inch, but I am in the 130 zone with you.
Yeah.
How describe a day of your nutrition? An average day. What's your approach?
I have to have, and I just had to tell myself, because I tell everybody that comes through my door, Like you need to up your fiber. And I looked at my fiber and I was not being authentic with my life because my fiber was down. So I'm having to add in so much more fiber right now, whole food, not fiber supplements.
Right.
So if I'm having coffee in the morning, I'm having a cup of either bone broth or I'm having warm water. It's always starting with water, and I do like a cup of coffee.
Coffee has fiber, you know that?
I do, but and also
a little bit. It's not going to solve
lot.
your whole day, but it has more than people know.
Yeah,
and the type of coffee makes a difference.
That's what I was about
more
to say.
on that later.
Yeah, there is, and that's what I'm trying to noodle. I can't remember. So I won't eat all day if it is not in front of me. I'm in my office standing. It could be 10 hours. I'm getting people in and out, eating out. So if I have berries in a bowl, I've got bone broth already heated in a thing.
Nice.
Right? So I have to have that. My big meal for me and my metabolism is after 4 or 5. But now I'm eating as much as I can, like fiber wise, or and I eat
What's
meat.
a typical dinner?
Try every color of the rainbow. Like we're color. Like I need colors
Salads,
on my plate.
veggies.
Yeah. So, but chopped salad is going to be cabbage and Brussels sprouts and like tons and packs.
What do you dress it with?
So the kids love some Olive Garden. It just depends on is it lemon? Is it sometimes it's the sauce of whatever I made.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just
healthy fat.
What do you together. Use? Oh, healthy fat, bone broth, 100%. But it becomes that aspic, right? That I'm using that to, I like plant butter or butter, like an olive oil.
Good.
Butter.
What do you use for oils out of a bottle?
Fats, though. Bacon fats. I do like if eliciting the flavor, whatever I'm cooking.
Do you typically go organic with everything? Or?
No, and that's a financial.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
Check out Walmart if you have one near you.
We do. This is where I was going to go with this. Like there are certain things I do want organic. The kids drink milk with cereals, so we get organic milk. I like my sweet potatoes to be organic. They're in the ground. I kind of like them to be. Don't do it all the time. Meats, can't do it all the time. But when I'm doing my meats, I want. I need it to be. I need for it not to be Food Lion. And I'm saying that out loud because I think, you know what I mean? Like I just need, we can't always afford it, but we're going to get the best that we can for the money that we have. And it's affordable and we can do that. Like rotisserie chickens, you can buy raw and cook or go ahead and buy the rotisserie chicken.
Right. And they go far. Like they really do. You don't have to like eat half of it. If you're going for 4, 5, 6 ounces of protein, one whole chicken will go far.
Absolutely. Avocados, we have a good rounded, you said something else. What kind of fats? You said
healthy fats out of a bottle.
Healthy out of a bottle. Yeah.
Like olive oil or avocado.
Olive oil. Yeah. Olive oil is always our standard, but I'm in a glass bottle olive oil. It's the girl that I am.
Right.
But I would love to go avocado oil. I'm not going to. It's expensive. And my kids, when they cook, go like this. So a couple times it's up there. I'm like, well, y'all can't use that.
Understood.
So it's underneath. But
what are your top proteins that you like to go with each week? Like animal meat.
Just meat?
Yeah. Well, let's start there.
Meat, yeah. Red meat and I are not the best of friends right now. So it's chicken. It would be like chicken. I love lamb, bison, but it is chicken and red meat if the kids have it. But for me, it's mostly chicken and fish.
What kinds of fish?
I like whitefish and I like tuna. So I'll go mahi to, oh my heavens. We just ate it. I can't, it's a thicker,
halibut?
Sea bass.
Sea bass.
Yeah. Easy grill,
What's your husband's name?
Brad.
Brad. Does Brad help cook? Is he into it with you or does he leave it up to you?
He would probably cook more if I was like, baby, right? It is, even if I'm frustrated, it is a passion. I love cooking.
It relieves your stress.
It does, but it's this art, and
Yeah,
I love
right.
feeding my family.
Understood.
I am still in this like born and raised. I want to feed my family.
Yeah.
It is what love is to me.
Right.
And I will be scrambling, and he'll be like, "Babe, can I help you?" No, I'm fine. Well, I'm going to get the dishes down, and can I get the salad for you? So yes, he will.
Right.
Like we grill, like he got a blacktop for Father's Day, but I run that blacktop.
What is that?
It's a outdoor blacktop.
It goes on the grill?
No, it's just a big skillet
Okay.
grill kind of thing.
Instead of barbecue grills.
Yeah, it's gas.
So I'm just thinking out loud.
He does that a lot.
Are the kids and Brad down here in Jackson with you
No,
for this trip?
No, they're up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long are you here for?
Monday.
Monday.
So 2 more days. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but he'll cook on there with me.
Nice.
But it's easy throwing, and I have plans. Like I have the plans. It's hard, which I've realized, and my husband has lovingly let me know that maybe that's a little control that I didn't realize. So I'm learning.
Fair enough.
I'm learning.
All right. So, do you have any like cheat treats? I don't like to say cheat, because if you're doing the right things, you can have like a little treat meal here and there, whether it's dessert, pizza, this, that.
Oh, yeah. Chocolate is mine 100%.
Milk or dark?
So dark.
All right. Any specific brands you like?
I don't like Hershey.
Understood.
I can tell you that.
Yeah,
I don't
get it.
like
Totally.
Lindor, and I don't like truffles and stuff.
Right.
I am, I think Russell Stover's dark chocolate I like, but really I want a brownie. I want a brownie.
All right. Yeah. So.
But but in that same breath, like I was telling her, when I moved up to North Carolina, here's humble to say out loud, I moved up to North Carolina because when I was still down here and training and working, the cleanest of eating, of course, because that's what we did. Right. Kids, me, there was no. I moved back up to North Carolina. I was like, look at that chicken biscuit. Look at that snack cake. And like, oh, well, the kids will want that for their.
And you want it.
Oh, listen.
Right.
I was not allowed to eat that stuff. So it was easy for me to never eat that stuff.
Right. Right.
And then I was like, ooh, like my mouth is watering. It is real. It is this addictive, can bring in, and I have to.
This is what our public has to deal with. They're being taken advantage of in the biggest way, because food companies know that's the weakness right there.
Correct.
But we're mindful and self-aware enough to know, here's what's going on.
I cannot.
Most people, they can't even stop it there. Like they're just so consumed by it.
But part of that mass consumption, though, is it's cheaper to have the junkier food.
Right, you get more for your money.
It is. It just
people.
is.
It's awful, but it's true.
There's honesty to it. It's realness to it. Like, would I love to, be able to say that everybody can afford a healthy? They cannot. So we're going to make it work to where you can. So your main things, spend your money on that. Right? If you're gonna, then let's make a list of the things that are important with your proteins, your fibers, or let's make sure that that's taken care of, and then
Walmart carries a lot of good organics now. You just have to look for them.
Yeah.
So anybody listening, watching, if you're looking to stay on a budget with organics, Walmart has so many.
I love it.
You have to go look for them.
Yeah.
They're kind of hidden because they're so blended in with all the other ones. If you go look, you'll start finding them, and then once you know where they are, okay, I got my list. I'm going to go in, and literally, it's like half price of Publix.
Oh, yeah.
So brownies. Are you guys eating dinner out tonight, or are you going to cook at home?
No, we're doing our own.
Would you eat some healthy organic brownies if she makes them tonight?
No, and I wouldn't either.
All right, I'll save that for another day.
Sorry,
that's
we're
okay.
In a whole,
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
Coffee and tea. Where do those fit in, or do they fit into your daily routine?
Yeah, like I go in and out. I ebb and flow with coffee. I don't want to ever think that this is a routine that I'm in, that I am just doing this to do this.
Right.
So, and the weird looks that you get, and you're like, I'm not drinking coffee right now. And it could be months.
Right.
And they're like, what is your problem? Get it.
No
I
problem.
totally get it. Right.
Right.
But it's like the reactions back, but it is truly like, I'm going to reset. I don't want the caffeine to be the reason I'm waking up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know and I love all the benefits of caffeine,
Right.
wherever they are. But it's also, and I can say
And
this
also
for
the
women.
coffee itself, not just the caffeine.
Right,
All the
exactly. The
polyphenols,
whole,
all the
correct.
antioxidants.
But wherever stage you are as a woman, I can speak on, are we in peri? Are we in menopause? Are we post? Every little bit of caffeine can wreck your, are you sleeping? Because you're already not sleeping. So being careful with that. I'm in
so
a
it
stage.
does not necessarily avoiding, like we're going to stop it for a month or 2 months or
Correct.
3 weeks, whatever.
I go back to it.
Get a new
because,
baseline.
and if I'm not having coffee in the morning, I might have green tea in the afternoon or black tea. So I'm not saying I'm taking it. I'm saying I don't like the ritual of
where it has to be.
I have to drink coffee every morning.
Otherwise, I'm not me.
I can't wake up if I don't have it.
Understood.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, it's a mental game.
Yeah, I don't want that part. So I will have that.
Mhm.
I feel like that green tea, white tea, black tea in the afternoon it is great.
Agreed. Yeah. I got my tea ritual in the afternoon.
And
sometimes it's coffee in the afternoon again.
Yeah, and I think finding time for that with having a concerted snack is great. Now, I say that mine is on the fly.
Yeah.
I am lucky to get it in, but it's there.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's holding myself accountable to it, but it's a good thing to have. So that's my caffeine.
Nice. So Renee, you like coffee. If I remember right, at Patty's party, you had a cup of coffee.
She's so excited about a Cuban. And I was like, have you not had that? She was like, no. It like opened her mind to good coffee. I was like, sister.
So did you like it?
Loved it.
Good. How do you like your coffee? Strong, bold?
Yes. I used to be very weak. It's not strong enough for her.
It is not.
All right.
She makes weak coffee, but she doesn't when I'm there. So I'm not complaining, but her coffee
I'm working
is
on a coffee project. I'll keep you posted on it.
Yes.
But I love coffee. I didn't start drinking coffee until I was, I don't know, maybe 20.
Yeah, I was in my 30s.
But as an Italian kid growing up, there was coffee on the table and stove every minute. There wasn't a time when there was no espresso brewing or whatever. I loved the smell. As a kid, I loved the smell.
Yeah.
I just never started drinking it until my 20s. Now, I'm a 2-time-a-dayer with good, organic, high-quality coffee and working on the secret coffee project in the background.
Nice.
Stay tuned. Yeah. All right. Any personal injuries you've ever had? Any big ones?
Oh, let me count the ways.
Give me one big one.
Yeah. And you know what I'm going to start
Could be any time.
Yeah, I'm going to start when I was young. High school. Deadlifting, and some ding dong came up behind me and pushed my back down, thought it would be funny, right? Messed me up. But actually it opened my eyes because I had to go get it, all the workups. And they gave me a ton of meds, and then they told me, you have arthritis in your lower back. I'm 18.
Wow.
I'm like, what? So when, and I go on, whitewater kayaking, like the whole thing, and I keep getting these little injuries. Not one person said to me, hey, here's what can help you. And then I was young, so it was good. Like it would pop up every once in a while.
The back thing, the low back?
Oh, yeah, the lower back 100%. But where did it move? It moved down my tail, like my tailbone. It moved like the inside of my pelvis, like all sorts of stuff. Because nobody said until I started realizing, oh, I have got to fill in the blank. I need to make sure my knee is loose and my hamstrings are loose, right? The whole hip crest. So that was
there any pelvic floor stuff needed?
Say it one more time.
Pelvic floor, like was that ever an issue?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I almost shot it from the rooftop. Like women really need pelvic floor therapy.
Big time, especially as they enter middle age and beyond.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like, and this is a whole paradigm shift with our healthcare system that will stand on all the boxes and yell about for change, but it should be given because that affects when you have pelvic PT or you have true pelvic functional movement, you are being guided the right way to move your pelvic floor. The freedom that comes in your back, your legs, your mind.
Sure.
Period.
Controlling incontinence or reversing it.
Everything.
A lot of guys are guys who get deconditioned, they gain excess weight, they have pelvic floor issues too.
I was just telling my husband,
everything's getting weak, not just your biceps or your chest or your quads.
Yeah.
Everything inside your body's getting weak.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And what happens with that? And you start having all these other issues. Oh, my groin is killing me.
Yeah.
Or like, my hip flexors they're always jacked up. When I try to get out of the chair, like I can hardly move. Right.
Yeah.
So it's this cascade effect where you get a domino of issues from one main thing triggers all these other things.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, no, I'm going to start doing something. This is the year.
Yes.
This is it. Like,
Yes.
I'm not playing games anymore.
Yeah.
Like, all right. We love you. I mean, I'm not. We're not making fun of anybody.
No,
we're just saying the things we constantly hear, and then
the all right.
sometimes it's
yeah.
one big scary thing that happens that really pushes them over the edge into action.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Was there any other injury beyond the younger years that scared you, made you have to go to like get a lot of rehab, shoulder, knee, another back thing, anything like that? In your 30s,
like there's
40s?
a lot. I'm trying
Give me one
to.
big one.
I know. I'm trying to think. I know, and I didn't realize it was a major injury then until afterwards, and I really had to work on it. So in roller derby, you're hitting people with your shoulder, right? So, and I'm not a big fighter. I'm not a fighter at all, but I can get low and I stay low. So I was the one bumping everybody out of the way. And when I would go to do a push-up, I would have to like take my whole person up to be able to do it. And so once I started, but I will tell you to this day, I still have to angle and move and make sure and be concerted. What's my rib cage doing right now? And that was a big, I feel like that took it still today, but I feel like that's what we have to do with injuries. You will always be working on that injury to be corrected because it's a place that you need to be intuitive about.
Yeah, it's long.
It may not still be
long-term maintenance.
Acute.
Just
it is
because it's fixed doesn't mean you're done. You got to keep it that way.
Yeah. When you get tired or you get kind of sick, or what's the first thing you're going to feel? What's going on my shoulder right now? Or what's going on my back? Yeah. Those little injuries are like, hello.
Yeah, remember?
Here I am.
Yeah. Reminders.
So take care of it. Yeah, that was a really big one. I think, and it went down to my wrist, and I did have PT
for it
in my
to
back.
rehab?
Yeah. I had some tears in my back too, and that was.
What years were you roller derbying?
Logan was. I have to go off kids. Logan was like 2 or 3, so
early to mid 30s.
Yeah, mid 30s because he was born in 2005. Go 3 years, yeah. So 30, like 33. 32, 33, yeah, which all the girls were mostly younger than me. Right.
Okay.
Which is fun.
But when you're fit like you are, you can do these things.
It was good. Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah, and that's a fun part of it. Like you're leading the stretches, you're leading the stuff, and they're like, they can't touch their, toes, but they look great, but are you functionally moving?
Exactly.
You want to keep skating, you better start. Yeah.
What is there? Would you say there's a prevalent client issue that you see in the ladies that come see you that's like 80% of them are coming for this, or 65% of them are coming for this type of thing, whether it's shoulder, back, pelvis, neck?
If we're going outside of it, because a lot of my people come post-surgery and like healing from, but in that soft tissue that like in their body, that neck, it's neck, upper neck, and then they realize it's also their jaw.
Yeah.
And then they realize, oh, it's actually in my chest, right? Because when you look at women and how we hold, and I'm only speaking about women because that's the majority, that's my niche. Like I love men, but I believe that there's a place for men work with men. I know women's body. Anyway. We tend to carry here. We don't speak what we mean when we clinch, and we're trying to be cool, right? And men do it too, but I see them. But men, I see it, they hold a lot more tension in their calves because it's in that, whether we want to call it the hunter and gatherer mover, they're on the balls of their feet, like going. Women holding it here, going, and then their lower belly. Like that tension in their neck is so real. And when you tell somebody, let's just sigh out your breath for a second.
Relax.
See how that feels. Yeah, but telling somebody to relax and showing them, put your hands right here for a second and just, your teeth are open. Right. They don't need to touch.
Right.
Oh, just swallow for a second. And then when you're going to do some of those movements that you're doing, start there
Mm-hmm.
and then do fill in the blank.
Right.
Because whether some of the women are coming to me with injury from just life or from working out, the reoccurring theme is, oh, like I didn't realize I was gripping my fingers while I was doing this, or my jaw was tight, or I'm just hanging my belly out, but not having like that intention of like get your core right and your spine's going to be straight.
It's like people sitting at their desk most of the day. They don't realize even how they're sitting, or their overall ergonomic positioning in relation to the computer screen, the phone, whatever. Right. And you don't realize how much time goes by when you're in these awkward positions that are creating issues and you're not even moving. You're just like in one spot.
But the idea of that, when you're with somebody who has that little bit of wisdom to say, hey, when you start feeling that pain in your neck and you're sitting at your desk, take your belly button just gently, just feel everything rise.
Mm-hmm.
Let your shoulders go back.
Right.
Kind of let your ears drop a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You start setting up that foundation. Then if you're working out, you hear yourself, oh, my shoulder blades probably need to be down, my back just a little bit more, my chest needs to be open. And this is dialogue with yourself.
Teaching mindfulness of their body
person.
in relation to what they're doing.
Yeah.
Reconnecting people with their bodies. So many people are disconnected mentally from their physical body.
Yeah. And a lot of women that I work with are coming in, and it goes with this midlife. Like, where do I belong in this world?
Right.
What can I start doing with, like I need PT in my lower abs. I have a hernia here that probably needs to be corrected. So any core work I do, which is a huge, huge thing. Never have been taught like the antagonistic muscle work. So you're actually building at the same time. So that overwork, and I only know to do this.
So like I was blessed to be born into this whole realm. You were active as a youth, all the sports, and then naturally in the gym training.
Yeah.
We're like in the 10% of the population that gets that kind of early blessing. 90% is their parents didn't do fitness, so their parents never introduced them to it. They weren't an athletic type. They didn't play sports, so they couldn't enter that way. Right. And so there's so much we take for granted that is just very common for us, that the other 90%, that person in that part of the population, has zero frame of reference about. It's like, this is my body. I'll go to the doctor when something's wrong, when something hurts, or when I'm sick. Right. So it's like, and like you see it. You had I guess you had your epiphany close to 40, like we spoke 40, about 38, 39, like I'm going to start doing something, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's that experience that we hope everybody could have at some point. Like it doesn't, you're not going to be a CrossFitter. You're not going on stage in a bikini competition. You're not going to be a mud racer champion. You want to ace your life. You want to be the champion in your own life, living it to the best, right? So it requires you train for that. You're training for your life, not to beat out anybody else, not to compete against people, but to be your best in your life, for your family, your loved ones, people close to you, the community you serve, yourself. You deserve it, right? So it's changing the paradigm of how they're thinking about all this stuff to realize that, oh, this means something totally different to me, but I need my version of that to get me to where I need to be and want to be and can be. Right? So love having these conversations. All right. We're almost toward the end. You good?
Yeah, I love it.
You got some more to go? All right. Have you ever gotten way off track for any kind of reason in early adulthood, last bunch of years? Anything?
Off track?
Yeah, like something happened, you got way off track, injury.
Oh, yeah.
Give me something.
I mean, I kind of spoke like even with the food, going to North Carolina, and I had to, realigning that.
So that was when you and Brad were combining families?
Yeah.
All right. So it's a big life change.
Fine. Yeah, big life change, and just going, still working out, still, but I was like, ooh, but I am going to eat all things. So.
Were you starting to get puffy, gaining a little weight?
No, because I ran.
Okay.
I was a runner. I say was because I do not run anymore.
Okay.
and worked out. So no, and still like as soon as I moved there, actually, I think before I moved there, I found a CrossFit gym and I'm like, I teach mobility. You need me. Okay. So they are,
Right.
so just right off the bat. So I plugged in really quickly, but I had heart surgery in 2017, 16, around, let's say that.
Okay.
And because out of nowhere, even though I'm running, I would run like 8 to 5 miles or whatever in the sun, on the beach, on concrete, middle of the day in the summer. Nothing. I mean, I have lived a fun life, but I can't. I had this one little moment. They send me for a scan. They find out I have had a couple strokes.
What age? What age were you?
That was 43, because I'm 48 now. So we're going to go around then.
Couple of strokes.
That's about right. Yeah. Yeah. They find out by happenstance of something else that ended up going away that I had a couple strokes. Well, why did they have the strokes? They find out, okay, well, let's look at her heart. I go to a heart specialist. He has me run on oh, you're healthy. You've got a heart of them. Like, okay. No. So the next heart specialist says, no, you have, I think it was 2 holes in my heart and an aneurysm. Yeah. Must have been born with.
Was that like a second opinion, or you had to go for different testing?
It was second opinion. I went through 2 of them because it was not, my primary was fabulous. The specialists I was seeing were so crass, and I don't have it. Okay. I get to shop for you. You're not shopping for me.
First opinion was like, no, you're fine. Second opinion says, no, 2 holes, aneurysm.
Oh, it was messy. Yep.
And then what was the plan after that?
Heart surgery to put an occluder in. They repaired the aneurysm, put an occluder in my heart.
To fix the holes and the aneurysm.
So that had to shift my blood flow everywhere too, which was an amazing, everything was different. And I didn't even know I had a problem. I just thought
Wow.
Yeah, I just thought I needed more caffeine.
What were the first signals that you may have had something that needs to be looked into?
Okay, now I know with the strokes, and my husband and I both missed it. The first 2 were TIAs, so that doesn't make it any less anything. Like, it's real, but I was in the world of eating well, moving all the time, and that benefited my healing so much that I did not know that was happening. I'm sure the day of I felt off, but then I implement what I know to do to make myself feel well. The third one, we were combining homes. I still had my home down here. And I was up there for the weekend. I had mentioned we drove back and forth all the time. And that got stressful with kids in school. And I will never forget it. At the time, we didn't know it, but we're packing the car and I'm backing out and I see him coming toward me just like, what are you doing? And I was like, what? I ran over all of our boxes that were behind the car that I was supposed to have put in the car. And I thought, to this day, I thought I put him in the car. And I remember driving going, something's not right. And I am a power through it. We're going to get through it. We got to the next destination and I was a mess. It was hot and sweaty and things were off, but we were mad and stressed.
Right.
So I had to shut it down for a moment. But that moment of knowing that I was not feeling well, like sweaty, clammy. I did not do the things that, and then as time went on a little bit, we're seeing this little bit of what's going on. Like, I wasn't lifting my leg up over the step as we were, and this was like a day or 2, right? Like, what's my foot doing? But again, I know how to take care of myself. I'm fine, which is a problem in this world.
Right.
It's true. And like, I will hold myself to it all the time. Like, one of my mantras that's in my head is integrity and humble. Because I need to know that.
Right.
Because that humbleness of going, you cannot take care of yourself right now with a stretch and some soup. Go to the emergency room.
You might be something out of your hands.
Yeah, and that is a real thing. And I've had to learn that humbleness of like, I don't want to go see a doctor. Because I don't, but I need to.
Yeah, you knew.
And so once that, and because it is true, like that numbness and that ringing and that stuff, it could be a stroke. Go to the hospital. But the grateful, like being blessed of taking care of myself early and in that top mid range,
Right.
that saved so much for me.
Understood.
But I was not able, after heart surgery, no more running.
Mhm.
Like one, I couldn't run afterwards for quite a time, but then
Mhm.
they found all this stuff in my back.
Mhm.
Like they took all the scans and then like,
Right.
here, sister, here's what's up.
Mhm.
Okay.
Did it change your approach?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that took me a moment. That emotional pull of being told I could not run, devastating, crushing, because
Mhm.
that was the only high in life that I could talk for days about it. It's just such
So-
a beautiful thing. And
yeah,
to take it away and
right.
tell me,
So it appears that you've processed that and you've got
Yeah.
your new solution.
yeah. Because it's not that. I do not want to run. I don't want my bladder between my ankles. Right. I don't want, like, I know what I love now. And I do. And my home will always be yoga. My home will always be these long stretches
Mhm.
and movement wherever I am. Like,
Mhm.
that gives me a freedom, because what I'm doing is actually having the integrity with my mind.
Right.
That resets with my body.
Mhm.
Because running is that for me.
Right.
Running is my mind and my body are working like flawlessly together. It is the same thing with
That's
working
what it was.
out functionally. Yes.
Right.
Now, same thing, but I'm like doing so much more than
Yeah.
pounding my heels into
Right.
concrete.
Right.
So
More balanced, more well-rounded.
And with the age comes wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So much wisdom.
Right.
Hallelujah. Like that I can look at myself and go, and I say this to the girls or to whoever, like, I'm not trying to throw cars. If you're coming to me to work out, we're not throwing cars. If you want that, let's get you conditioned so you can go do that. But we don't throw cars here.
Right.
It is mostly body weighted. And because what we're doing is, I want you to see how to move your body.
Right.
Do I want you forever as a client and for business aspect? Absolutely. But what I want is you to leave here, and if you got all of it and you can go work out on your own,
Mm-hmm.
and you heard everything, how you need to move your body, that's where the magic is.
Right.
Because I couldn't shift. I pivoted to, okay, well, it took me a while. It took me a while to lose that mentality of like, I can't run.
Right.
To
be able
plug
to accept
in,
it. And
I
then
can.
What are we going to do? How are we
Yeah.
going to replace it? What's the progression?
Mhm.
What's the evolution that I'm going through here?
Yeah. And to let go for myself in
Yeah.
this vanity wise,
Right.
because in that shift of time of not being, heart surgery, this,
Mhm.
I started menopause. Nobody knew I was
Mhm.
going through all this stuff. And then my legs looked different.
Mhm.
I wasn't running. I had like my legs.
Mhm.
Listen, I would like to say they are not. They are powerful. They are muscle. Like
Mhm.
but I have a fat collection from the ancestors passed down through the grandmothers.
I
Apparently,
think we touched on this on the phone, and I said after we talk,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you some of my body weight programs to try.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that, please.
Okay.
I won't forget, but if I
Yeah.
do, remind me.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you set up.
But it's reminding myself that I'm not going so hard so I can blow through
Right.
that layer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm building slowly so my muscles are going to move, then we get there.
Right.
But I have to have patience
Mm-hmm.
of looking at my legs.
And peace.
Honestly,
peace in the moment.
This is who I am.
Right.
Yeah. Because that's a real thing. When
Yes.
you don't look the way you either looked before
Mm-hmm.
or you want to look in, period, that is mentally
it's
triggering.
One of the words I have for it is body anxiety for the women.
Yeah,
Which is
it
like,
can
oh my
be.
God, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Right? It's this constant preoccupation with, what am I going to wear? Well, I got to get out of the shower and look in the mirror. Then he's going to see me. And then we're supposed to go to this vacation.
Yeah.
Right?
And
it's
you
constant.
think about what you correct. And
Mhm.
that's when we put honesty to that, because I don't think people want to say that out loud.
Right.
And I don't mind saying it.
Mhm.
That's where you're like, oh, it's allowed to take your time. You don't have to do 90-day fitness. So then your legs are going to look good. No, I know I'm seeing my legs.
Yeah.
And how I'm moving is exactly how I need to move. And I'm moving through that. Even yesterday, I was like, the tops of my knees.
Mm-hmm.
They're gorgeous right now. Would I like them better? Yes.
That's where I got you.
So that's where I'm moving.
I got you. I'm going to help you.
Yeah,
All right.
do that.
All right. And so we're going to
We'll
give you
add
an
it
update. Everybody tuning in, a lot of the ladies who watch and listen, they're in my world because of the lower body programs they discovered me by years ago.
Good.
And like, where has this guy
Mhm.
been? And I love sharing that. Like, it's
Mhm.
very subtle, but until you actually try it,
Mhm.
it's
Good.
hard to understand. So
Yeah, I love it.
we'll keep you posted on how we utilize this
Yeah.
going forward. That'll be fun. All right. So to as we start to wrap up, before we wrap up, just keep in mind, Dana is going to nominate a future guest, right? Did we talk about that? Did we finalize?
We kind of did.
We kind of did. Right. So we'll revisit that. You got
Yeah.
a question for me, right?
Yeah.
And can we share one of your social handles or website?
Oh,
if you
yeah.
have either or? Okay. So
Both are-
before we get to that, I usually ask people what keeps you disciplined or on track. I think we got the gist of all that, like based on our conversation. But
Yeah.
can you sum it up in 2 or 3 sentences?
Yeah, mine is the people that I work with. Like, I want to be authentic for the people that are coming to me. So if I take
Okay.
care of myself and
nice.
I am healing myself, I am authentic. They are not only seeing that and that want to model that, but they are able to do it. So I'm speaking truth.
Right.
And that's hard. It's hard a lot. Like,
Sure.
when we
We
have
all-
to admit
we're all
our
human.
weakness, but I love it because that keeps me accountable.
Right.
When my kids have to see me, like, Ma, what are you eating?
Mm-hmm.
And don't touch them because they're mine. Like, those are my
Right.
snacks. But I have to say, it is a daily authenticity, and that's what I want. It is for my family. It is for the people
Leading
I
by
get to be with.
example.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
being the example.
yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Love it. Good stuff. All right. Would you have any condensed piece of advice for middle-agers who keep getting injured either in their general approach to ongoing fitness, or they're the kind of person that all right, this year I'm starting off, or, vacation's coming up in 2 months, like I'm going to do that 90 day.
Yeah.
What would you say to the person who keeps finding themselves in this cycle of injury and then restarting, or injury rehab, and like, let me think about what I'll try next time?
I think you touched on it because that's the big thing for me. If you know some of the specific things that you're doing consistently as a habit, or that's your workout, and that's what you know, change that. Like, getting uncomfortable is where magic happens. So I don't know how to, maybe it's, I don't know how to lift weights. I don't know how to do a push-up, but I do know bars because they're on a machine. And I'm going to do, okay. Or I know,
Right.
Get uncomfortable.
And seek proper help.
Yes.
Help. Word
Well,
proper
this
is
it.
important.
Yeah, because the uncomfortable part is going, can you help me? I need help. And you go to somebody who, if somebody can look you in the eye and listen to you, and it's not just what you're saying, what were your injuries? Well, what do you do during the day? Where do you feel like your most tension is? And they're asking you pertinent questions, listening, and then want to, like, they are excited. That's magic. Go get uncomfortable, say all the things that have happened, and then change it.
Right.
Because the compiled muscle on top of muscle, because you want to be strong in your hips and all these squats, but your hips are like wrecked in your lower back, and then your piriformis and
and pelvic floor. Right?
thing.
How many ladies wreck their pelvic floors by trying to do all this squat and lunge stuff and Bulgarian split squats and like, hello?
The squat thing's killing me. It is constantly coming to my tail. Like, what? Stop
Understood.
squatting.
I get it.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is, a lot of women don't realize it could be a trigger for hemorrhoids as well.
Oh.
Like, a lot of people don't speak about that.
Like,
yeah.
And that's it. It is that verbiage.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's truth. It's like,
Yeah.
really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but a lot of trainers won't tell you, oh, there's a risk you're going to take by me forcing you to do these crazy squat routines.
Yeah. Bladder too.
Yep.
Yep.
Write that down. It's
Yep.
important. Subtle, but important. All right. Good stuff. So let's go to our wrap up here. Who is it that you're going to nominate for a future guest? Who did we talk about?
We didn't talk about anybody.
We didn't.
But, in North Carolina, I think that women that I have worked with who just, I see power in them. Like, I am inspired by the people that I have the honor of working with. So
Understood.
I'm currently, and she's going to be like, what are you talking about? Michelle Winans is one.
Okay.
She is
Good success story, progress story.
I love, yeah,
All
like
right.
great background for anything from working out, having kids,
Mhm.
injury. You know, it's like anything that was thrown at her, and this is a lot of the women. I love it.
Okay. So
Finding the way to advocate for yourself,
yeah.
and what do I need,
Mm-hmm.
not what everybody's telling me that I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Just to, because you don't get much information from a specialist. That's their specialty.
Yeah.
You're not going to get what should you eat.
Right.
You really don't.
No,
I
it's
mean,
true.
it's nuts.
Very,
Like
it's very generic or broad, if anything.
yeah, I get a lot of like breast cancer women coming in. They're like right off the heels of chemo, and they're like, "Oh, you don't have cancer anymore," and everybody thinks you're supposed to be so happy. What do I do?
Right.
How
What's
do I
next?
move my
Like,
body? I've got
where do
nowhere
we
to
go from here?
eat. Yeah, and like these are inspirations too. Carla Barber, I would nominate her too. Like
Okay.
that would be in the finding and knowing that you can look outside of just the first page of your discharge notes
Mhm.
and go, or your, what people you've been bred your whole life. You just
Right.
go to a primary care, the dentist, and
Mm.
wash your face.
Mhm.
Maybe you go to a dermatologist.
Right.
But you seek out who can take care of my body, my person, my mind, and how does this connect together? Because it has to.
Oh yeah.
And then acting on it,
Right.
I love it.
Yes.
It gives me chills.
Awesome. So if you think of anybody else, I'm totally
Yeah.
open to doing remote
Oh,
podcasts
good.
on
Yeah.
Zoom. Like I've done so many of those already with
Oh, good.
clients who are success stories. We do an interview and we share the success story from the beginning to the success
Yeah.
stages,
Oh.
and the finer details in there to inspire other people who are just starting.
Mhm.
Like, oh, okay, that's how she did it.
Mhm.
I can do this too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So would love an intro to Michelle and Carla. Maybe we'll get them both on. If you think of anybody else who has a stellar story, like a great
I have a
example,
ton.
okay,
We could do a
we
whole
could-
series on
well,
powerful women.
okay, we'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about that. I'm
Yeah.
totally open to doing that, and I would love to. All right, you have a good question for me?
I do. Like, what is your? I don't know if it's dual or not. What do you think is the biggest vulnerability that you feel? But what really gets you to that vulnerable point? Because vulnerable is not a bad thing.
Yeah, no. For
Like,
me,
you period. Yeah. What makes you feel vulnerable? Like, what gets you there?
Yeah, great question.
Good or bad?
Yeah,
Because
this is awesome.
yeah.
I've been recently thinking about this because my mom had a heart attack, severe pneumonia combo on New Year's weekend. So just a few months ago.
Yeah.
Right. And there's always been a family history of like heart stuff and some kind of possible cancer, the grandparents. My dad's got some heart issues. He's had quadruple bypass. He's an active guy. He got me into this stuff as a child.
Yeah.
Right. So the vulnerability is, man, I look at all these things that they've had and I came from them. Like, so what am I possibly carrying despite all pretty good health exams over the last bunch of years? What thing might be lurking?
Yeah.
And like that's always there with me. And it's a vulnerability because it's an insecurity.
Yep.
Right. And so there'll be moments, I'll be honest, when like each year when it comes time for my complete annual exam, and I go overboard with them, like, because it's important to me.
Yep.
And I want to show people this is the kind of stuff we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
If you don't know your inside numbers and diagnostics, you don't really know where you're at.
Yeah.
Right. So as that gets closer and closer, like, ooh, I get a little apprehensive, a little like, ooh, I hope my numbers are as good as last year or better.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so it's a vulnerability that I actually use to my advantage, because if I feel insecure about my genetics, the hereditary issues, it makes me work, relatively speaking, it makes me focus more, work harder on keeping my nutrition in a good zone, keeping the alcohol to a minimum, making sure I get my fitness in. And, my fitness, kids will see me on the beach And I'll be like, dude, like you could tell you're a bit old, but you're like your physique,
Yeah,
like,
you're
are
good,
you
bro.
an MMA fighter or
Yeah.
something? Like,
Yeah.
do you like go beast mode? And I'll show them my videos because I share a lot of my stuff in videos on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. And I'll show them I don't go beast mode. I do mostly body weight, good resistance band training and light weights. And they're surprised.
Yeah.
Right. So I say this because that vulnerability actually helps keep me on track with nutrition, with the fitness training, with getting my daily walks in. I usually get anywhere from 8 to 12 miles of total steps in per day.
Yeah.
I break it up into 2 or 3 walks. It's not a burden on me. I love doing it.
Yeah.
I don't care to sit on the couch and watch TV.
Yeah.
I love listening to podcasts and audiobooks, and I do that while I'm walking.
Yeah.
And I get, it's also my time with God during some of my walks, prayer time, reflection. Great question. Yeah. And does that answer suffice?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. Yeah, because if you can't find what your weakness is, then you haven't looked at yourself.
Right. And
weakness isn't bad.
No, they come in many forms. Like mine, right? Talking about it now, it's my weakness is an insecurity about my family hereditary issues.
Yeah.
Genes.
Which is real. And how many people would say that out loud?
True.
A lot of people don't want to be like, I'm good. It's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Even if they know their numbers.
Right.
And their numbers could be bad. But like, I'm fine because I'm working out and I'm walking and I'm, but if you're not really looking at it, it concerns me.
Yeah.
It concerns me. I want to know what's up with my numbers.
Right.
I'm the same way with that. But being able to say that out loud and I love it. Like vulnerability with other men or with the women that you're working with. That's like, they're lucky.
It's a connector.
It is.
Like,
because
it's a powerful
not
connector.
everybody gets that from the person that they're working with.
It puts you in the same like wavelength, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Right. They can understand me. I can understand them.
Yeah.
They've got some issues too. All right. And they're working on it and going forward.
Yeah. Everything is an opportunity.
Right.
Everything is an opportunity. It's how we're looking at it. I know that sounds like
that's life. That's the key to
rosy
life
glasses,
right there.
But if you can just, even if you like wallow in it for a moment, I get it.
Right.
It's there. It's anxious.
What do I turn this into?
Click it
now,
out.
though?
What is going to work for me?
Right.
Yeah.
Amen.
How does this work for me? Everything's opportunity to go forward for something else.
Yes. A lot of biblical undertones here.
Yeah, that's true.
Good stuff. All right. Would you like to share social handle, website, both? What do you got?
Yeah. Anybody want to work on my website for me? But my
you have a website?
Yeah, I do have a website, but I have my Instagram is Equilibrium Wellness.
Equilibrium Wellness.
NC.
NC for North Carolina.
And my website is Equilibrium 365. But that website has a lot of words because I like to speak.
That's good.
And it is mostly on lymphatic health, but
Equilibrium365.com is your website. That represents your practice in North Carolina.
Yeah.
What town are you in?
Business is in Cary.
Cary, Cary.
Y.
Cary, North Carolina. So if you're tuning in and you're in the Cary area or nearby and you want to get some treatment, some work done by Dana, from Dana, be sure to look her up and connect. Do you post on a regular basis on Instagram? Any tips? Pointers?
And I'm getting better. Like we're doing some more videos. When you're the single person hustling the business and the social posts are like, that's a whole new thing. Talk about getting older and running a business. That wasn't around 20 years ago. Anyway.
Right.
Yes, I post as much as I can. Other information on here's a stretch or, hey, start breathing right, or this is what I offer.
Many tips.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot more. I'm learning that is a large part of, because when I first started getting in the social game, like, oh, I need to like show, like, hire me or whatever. First of all, I never needed marketing because it was all word of mouth.
Right.
That's the best. Moved up there, didn't know too many, but we're back there. It's all word of mouth. And I realized, oh, I just want to show them what to do. I just want to speak on.
Right. If somebody is
so
on the other side of the country, maybe they need this tip. So you just put it out there.
Now I'm learning that. That's a game changer. So yes.
Awesome. All right, cool. You heard the site, equilibrium365.com, Equilibrium Wellness NC on Instagram. And that's it. I have a feeling we're going to be doing some kind of revisit in the future. look forward to hearing from Michelle and connecting
Yeah.
with her, Carla, and getting them on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I loved
Appreciate
it.
it.
Yeah.
Great stuff. All right, and that's it. As you're tuning in, whether you're watching on YouTube, midlifemusclepodcast.com takes you to the shortcut link, or you're tuning in on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any of the others. If you have any thoughts, feedback, comments, question, or anything else, just scroll down, look for the comment section, post there, and just give me some time to respond. And if you missed the links for Dana's Instagram and website and you want those, just post below, let me know, and I'll get those to you. And until next time, peace and much love to you. We'll see you then. I'm going to let that run a little
Play
bit.
out,
So it makes it easier for me to clip at the end. So that was great.
It was great.
Did you
Yeah.
expect it to go that well and be
Well, I knew our
so varied?
conversation was organic,
Yeah.
so I figured this was going to be organic.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah.
People will be
I
able
do,
to appreciate.
I really do appreciate that you're showing up with women like that. I really can't express enough. And you hear, like, I get zealous about, like, this is my life and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like women do not get the right guidance in so many things. And that if
You're
we could,
100% right. If you think about the average person being exposed to all the marketing and all the social media posting and all that
Yeah.
that's out there,
Yeah.
like, whoa. And this, like, even as a person in this realm, you look at it, it's like, man, there's a lot of stuff that's just so misleading, and some of it's
Yes.
outright bad.
Yes.
Like,
Oh my gosh.
and the average consumer who doesn't have the background we have or the
Yes.
history we have, they're like, they don't know how to discern what's
whether they're
right,
sticking
good.
something in their belly button or
Right.
they're like, I'm like, what are you doing? It trips me out. But I saw it on this, whether it's TikTok, Instagram,
Right.
or somebody told me I was watching somebody.
or
people-
my neighbor or my hairdresser or my
Yeah,
sister-in-law or
oh man, but
like-
who's talking to them?
Right, exactly.
I don't feel
It's
like
like,
you should trust
whoa.
that ear. Yeah.
right,
and-
so this comes down to
Yeah.
advocating for them.
Yes.
And again, this podcast is
Yeah.
part of like helping them understand that just about this is just a random number,
Mhm.
85, 90, 95% of what they're seeing and hearing out there,
yeah.
it's not for them.
No.
Trust me, it's
No.
not for you.
Yeah.
Like what's for you is a
Yeah.
very, very small percentage of stuff that's floating
Yeah.
around out there
And
that
it's
is safe and
specific,
effective and
it's
specific for
unique.
you.
Yeah.
Right.
It is you are you. You are wonderfully made, so look at yourself
Right.
wonderfully.
So
Like, and
doing
just
this
like that.
is
Yeah,
helping
I really
them
appreciate it.
develop the discernment
Mhm.
to be able to filter out a lot of the nonsense and the inappropriate stuff that they're seeing and
Yeah.
hearing. That's not for them,
Yeah.
let alone not for most people,
Yeah.
but them specifically.
Yeah.
And then being able to like think about it rationally instead of the emotional triggers that come through the
Yeah.
screen that we're looking at or the commercials.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. This new magic pill or this new crazy magical workout is not going to be the thing finally that
Yeah.
works.
And that has ramped up in the last 10 years.
Oh yeah, big time.
Social media and all its beauty also, elicits all this.
Yeah.
It's people are trying to sell
Right.
peddle their stuff or like give out their wisdom, but that doesn't mean everybody knows what they're talking about. And myself included, like I can say, because I'll go back and look at a post like, here's a great stretch or whatever. Or I have even told, and I will call them and say, I was wrong.
Mhm.
That is not, because I'm looking through my notes and this is not right for you. I was wrong. Like
Mhm.
let's approach it a different way. Give me a second. Let me reformulate it. And then I'm going to.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's easy. It's easy to do. You're like, oh, it's this and that. Oh, I see this here. I'm going to grab that. This collagen drink, it's going to make everything great for me. Like,
No,
I
it
get it.
isn't.
It is not. It's going to hurt your stomach probably. So
Right.
let's
Most
not do it.
women, they're like get brutalized by these
But you
crazy
look-
supplements.
You look back, it was
Better
probiotics.
probiotics. Like,
Oh yeah, that's
how overdone are probiotics? Forget the collagen. Collagen's another joke. But
Yeah.
the probiotics, like, no. If you start eating properly, your gut's going to do what it's supposed to be doing. You're not going to need probiotics.
Yeah, and you can find, and there's I think there's a time and space for everything, but it's really knowing that time and space, and it's limited
Right.
time and spaces for all these things. I believe, that are out there and doing all the, because they obviously they work for somebody in something.
Right.
Might not be you, or
Certain
maybe
scenarios, certain times.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you look before that, and people were, we had, whatever magazines. I never read magazines like for nutrition tips, but they were like, okay, so do this and do this workout. So all women knew that you would get in boat pose, or you do sit-ups. That's what you do for your core. And then, like there was just set things that you could read on a quick look through, or Better Health had their big
Prevention.
women's book, or their big men's book. I don't know if you remember those books.
Oh yeah.
I've got both of them. Loved them. But you don't know how to do the exercises. So now, you can get all the things and all the supplements and it's not just if you picked up that magazine.
Right.
It's everywhere and it's inundated. And if you look at it 3 times, you have all of it. I'm surprised the stuff that comes through.
Right.
I'm like, I did not elicit this with any search, but the people that I'm surrounded by, that's all they're looking at.
Right.
So it comes on my search. You might be interested in that.
Yeah.
I am not.
Like, no, definitely not interested in
not
that.
want
I'll
that.
see some stuff. It's like, oh, really? Like, this has been great.
Get these shoes back on. I need to use the bathroom too. What do I have? Oh, no, take that home. No, you're falling asleep.
All right, I'm ready for that coffee.